Hey guys, so it's the next day, so it's the 31st, and I had to let the show sit. I didn't like love the show. I really enjoyed it, and I ended up rewatching all 6 episodes again last night. Call me crazy, if you will. That's the first time with any show that I have binge watched it all in one day and then decided to rewatch it that same day. I enjoyed the show, but I think it was missing something for me personally. After rewatching it again, I think I really enjoyed the first episode. I think this is my favorite episode. It sets the tone, and I really like the lines and the way Optimus is portrayed in the first episode. I really like the way Wheeljack is portrayed in the first episode. Something about it intrigues me and has me enthralled and interested, and I'm still interested in the rest of the show. It's just that episode, kind of started off really strong, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit and went a little downhill. A little. I think when I finished it, I gave it maybe an 8 out of 10, and I'd probably have to give it a 7.8 out of 10 now. I lowered it a little bit because I don't want to just give it a high score because it's just Transformers. I want to look at it as a perspective as, was it good storytelling? Yes. Did I enjoy the characters? Yes, because it's Optimus, Bumblebee, Red Alert, Wheeljack, Megatron, etc. Those are characters I've known and loved before. But as of this version of them, I haven't seen enough to where I'm obsessed with one single character. I love Optimus because he's Optimus. But I think the voice acting is very jarring for me, at least. It's not Peter Cullen, which I understand maybe they couldn't get him, he didn't want to do it, or he was too expensive. Whatever the case, I would like some insider information being maybe Peter doesn't want to do Optimus anymore or something, because he started G1, he molded his personality after his brother, so the fact that he's not voicing Optimus in this show is kind of a little frustrating. I think us as Transformers fans would like to know why they didn't cast Peter and Frank. Is it because they want to do a new cast? Is it because Peter and Frank are getting too old and they want to have these new voice actors come in and be the permanent voice of Optimus and Megatron? If that's the case, then just flat out tell us the truth. I think us as Transformers fans, you owe it to us because we are the ones that give you our money so you can continue to make these shows. Can you just give us a little bit more and be like, FYI, this happened? And we'll be like, okay, we'll accept it. We'll deal with it. It's whatever. I will say, though, I have to praise the details that were done. The details in this show is so good. The lighting and the glow effects on the optics and the glow effects from the color of the sky or their lights, it is so good. The lightning and the dust storms in the Sea of Rust is so cool. It's so well done. The special effects are really good in this show. Highly praise it. I love it a lot. The details on all of the robots where there's battle scars and they actually show and you can see new ones form and get created, and the details of all the scars and scratches and scrapes because they are metal beings, and the details of when it's raining and you can see the rain bouncing off the metal, is the attention to detail. I love it. I like what they did with some of the characters. Bumblebee, it was jarring to get used to him being this tough guy and also not having him be an Autobot when he is the most Autobodies of Autobodies I've ever seen. It was weird. I got used to it. I like his voice actor. It's different. It's similar enough to G1, but it's also a little different, so I appreciate that. Megatron's voice was a little weird at first, but I got used to it. It's a different voice than I'm used to, but I got used to it, and I actually liked it. Megatron, I think, was really well done in the show. He started to use propaganda a lot. He was kind of like that sneaky snake kind of politician, and I kind of like that aspect of him. He's not as violent as normal Megatron usually is. He's a lot more get inside your mind and play with words with you, and I like that. He rarely is violent in the show, and when he is, he is. Optimus's voice actor is the same guy that did the voice of him in Cyberverse. I kind of thought it was him, but I kind of didn't. The thing is, voice direction and taking cues can really help make your voice better, and I think he did a 10 times better job in Siege than he did in Cyberverse because I feel like the voice direction was a little bit different. They wanted him to maybe sound a little bit deeper, a little bit more older, a little bit more like gritty, and a little bit more like Peter, which I appreciate. I liked Optimus in the show. I didn't love Optimus like I thought I was going to. Jetfire's whole story of him being on the Decepticon side and then changing to the Autobots made sense in my mind because, you know, at the beginning of all this, I feel like Megatron did really want peace. He wanted the lower class and the middle class to be just as important and to choose what they wanted to do. And so I feel like Jetfire maybe believed him at first, but then as Megatron got more power hungry and then decided, hey, let's do a genocide and kill all the Autobots, he was like, whoa, that's not what I want. And then he's like, I'm gonna go to the Autobots because they actually really want peace. To add to end thoughts, I really liked Impactor and Ratchet's like relationship and how it developed. I thought it felt realistic. It didn't really feel forced. Impactor was that like hardcore Decepticon, but he also felt like he would be willing to listen to the Autobots' cause and what the Autobots were saying. And he kind of got shell-shocked when he was like, oh, Ratchet's an Autobot. He wears that symbol, but he's helping me, a Decepticon, and he's not pushing me away, and he's letting me help the patients. What's that about? So I really felt their chemistry and their show and their relationship grow. And do I ship them? Yes, I do. One ship that I was very surprised about is I'm not an Optimus Elita shipper. I could care less about them. Well, I shipped him with RC and Prime a little bit in the beginning. I'm not a big fan of Elita either. I don't like her in G1. She felt like, to be fair, it did come out in the 80s, so there's that. But she felt like a helpless damsel in distress, and I didn't really like her. But I will say I really like Siege Elita. She has a lot of character development. I like her personality. She seems like a badass, and I felt her chemistry with Optimus. So if you've won me over with that, you know you did something right. So the voice acting still like is really wonky, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I hope they do something to maybe improve it a little bit in chapters 2 and 3. I think me and Safe Blanket agreed on this hardcore, is that we think that Prowl and Ironhide's voices should have been switched. Because if you look at Prowl in Cyberverse and in G1, he's always had a very like more middle tone voice, like Bumblebee in Siege, if you will. And Ironhide's always had that I'm Ironhide, liquid nitrogen kind of low voice that we've seen not just in G1 but also in the Bay films. And so the fact that they didn't give him a low voice and they gave him like a hi, I'm Ironhide kind of voice, it was like, that was probably a bad move on your point. I don't like that. I said I was gonna give Shockwave's voice actor, Todd Haberkorn, who I love very much, a break. Didn't really like Shockwave's voice. I'm sorry, Todd. So I'm hoping we get to see from both the Autobots' perspectives on the Ark and the ones left on Cybertron, because they're now defending Cybertron and having to still keep fighting this war with even less Autobots now, so we'll see how that goes. This is definitely the show that I wanted. I wanted a more darker, adult-like Transformers show. Since Prime, I have felt like the older fans have been treated like garbage. I mean, I love Rescue Bots and I really enjoyed RID, but it's not the same as Prime. It's not the same as the films. And for a while there, I was just kind of feeling like, not depressed, but like just bored kind of and upset being in the Transformers fandom as a 20-something adult who doesn't feel like she's getting the content that she wants. If MTMTE didn't exist, I would be very boring because I've been excited for Bumblebee, but I think since Bumblebee, I haven't really been, since RID ended, I have not been excited about a Transformers show until now. So RID ended, I believe, in 2016, or is it 2017? I think it's 2017 it ended. So it's been like 3 years, so it's been a hot minute since I've been excited for a Transformers show, and now I can feel myself getting excited again. I can feel myself being drawn back hardcore into the fandom, and I really appreciate that, and I'm excited to see where we go from here. I'm excited to see Chapter 2, which is Earthrise, and I'm not a big Beast Wars fan, but I'm excited to see what they do for Chapter 3 Kingdom. As of right now, Siege gets a 7.8 out of 10 for me. I'm excited to see what's next in the War for Cybertron trilogy. So let me know what you guys thought of the show down in the description, and I will see you with another video very soon. Bye, guys!